How much are you willing to sacrifice when the dream is dead and the only path forward requires betting everything you built? That's the question echoing through the Rogers Center this Friday evening, January 23rd, 2026. And the answer, according to the latest report from Mitch Marner, is that the Toronto Blue Jays have officially run out of easy options. The free agent market has dried up. The big names are gone. Cody Bellinger is back in pinstripes with the Yankees. Luis Robert is in Queens with the Mets. The dream acquisitions are off the board. Plan A failed. Plan B failed. And now, with spring training looming on the horizon and a fan base growing increasingly restless, Ross Atkins is facing a choice that will define not just this season, but his legacy as a general manager. The reality is brutal and unforgiving. If the Toronto Blue Jays want to improve this roster for 2026, it's not going to happen through free agency. That window has closed. The only path forward is through trades. And here's the thing that makes the situation so fascinating and so dangerous. Toronto actually has the prospect capital to make a significant move. The farm system has improved dramatically. You got Johnny King, a 19-year-old left-handed pitcher with elite upside. You got JoJo Parker. You've got young arms and young position players with legitimate potential. The question isn't whether you have the assets to make a deal. The question is whether you're willing to spend them. And the name that keeps coming up, the player that represents the dream scenario for this organization, is Steven Quan from the Cleveland Guardians. Think about what Quan represents tactically. He's left-handed. He's an elite contact hitter. He's a Gold Glove caliber defender. He's the kind of player who doesn't just improve your lineup. He transforms it. Imagine Steven Quan batting leadoff, followed by George Springer, followed by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That's not just a good top of the order. That's a run-scoring machine. That's the kind of lineup that puts pressure on opposing pitchers from the first pitch of the game. But here's where the dream collides with reality. Cleveland knows what they have. The Guardians have built a competitive team. They're not going to trade away one of their best players for spare parts. According to the report, Cleveland demanded a gargantuan return at the last trade deadline. They're not interested in negotiating. They're not interested in compromise. If you want Steven Quan, you're going to have to empty the farm. And that's the decision Ross Atkins has to make. Is it worth it? Is acquiring Steven Quan worth trading away Johnny King, JoJo Parker, and whatever other prospects Cleveland demands? Is it worth mortgaging the future to try to save the present? For a general manager whose job security is in question, whose credibility with a fan base is hanging by a thread, the answer might be yes. Sometimes you have to go all in. Sometimes you have to bet everything because the alternative is slow death. The alternative is watching your window close without ever making a real run. But the price for Quan is truly prohibitive. If Cleveland is asking for more than Toronto is willing to give, then the conversation shifts. Then you're back to the secondary market. Then you're looking at St. Louis. The Cardinals have an excess of left-handed hitters. Brendan Donovan, Lars Nootbaar, Alec Burleson. Any of them would help. Donovan brings versatility. Nootbaar brings discipline and on-base skills. Burleson brings contact. But here's the harsh truth that Mitch Marner articulates perfectly. None of them is a massive upgrade over what you already have internally. Trading valuable prospects for Lars Nootbaar is a lateral move. It improves your depth. It gives you another professional hitter. But it doesn't change the trajectory of your team the way acquiring Steven Quan would. It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't make opposing teams nervous. It's the definition of rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. And that's the dangerous position Toronto finds itself in right now. You're at a crossroads. Spring training is arriving. The fan base is restless. Ross Atkins made promises about a competitive team. He promised aggression. He promised that the Blue Jays would be players in the market. And so far, what has he delivered? A bunch of minor league signings. A few trades that didn't move the needle. A rotation that's deep but improving. A lineup that's missing the star power it needs to compete with the Yankees and the Orioles and the rest of the AL East. So now he has two choices. Option 1. Pay the absurd price for a star like Steven Quan and go all in. Trade away the future. Bet everything on winning right now with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in his prime. It's risky. It's aggressive. It's the kind of move that either looks like genius or looks like desperation, depending on how it works out. Option 2. Make a modest trade for one of the Cardinals' players. Improve the roster incrementally. Hope that the internal development, the young arms in the bullpen, the potential of guys like Trey Yesovich somehow fills the gaps. It's safer. It's more conservative. But it's also the kind of move that feels like surrender. The trade market is the last frontier. This is where championships are won and lost. This is where front offices separate themselves. Because anyone can spend money in free agency. Anyone can sign a big-name player if they're willing to pay. But trading? Trading requires vision. Trading requires understanding value. Trading requires the courage to make a move that might not work out, but gives you the best chance to win. If Toronto fails here, if they make modest trades and hope for the best, the 2026 season starts with a bitter taste. It starts with a feeling of what could have been. It starts with regret. The phone in Ross Atkins' office should be ringing off the hook right now. He should be calling Cleveland. He should be calling St. Louis. He should be exploring every possible angle because the window is closing. The moment is now. And if he doesn't act decisively, if he doesn't make the big move, he's going to spend the rest of the season wondering what might have happened if he'd been braver. This is the moment that defines a general manager's career. This is the moment where you find out if you're willing to take the risk. This is the moment where you find out if you believe in your team enough to sacrifice the future for the present. Stay locked in, because the next few days are going to be crucial. The next few days will tell us whether Ross Atkins has the courage to make the big move or whether he's going to settle for the consolation prize. And that decision is going to shape the entire trajectory of this franchise for years to come. If you think the Blue Jays should go all in for Steven Quan, smash that like button and drop a comment below. Do you believe Toronto has the prospect capital to make a deal for an elite player? Or do you think they should be more conservative and make modest improvements? Let me know what you think in the comments. This is a kind of organizational crossroads that defines a franchise's future, and I want to hear your perspective on it.